Revenge films.
I married my boyfriend, who I've been dating from college, when I was 25 years old. My boyfriend's parents owned a set meal restaurant, and it was very popular among the locals. He was the oldest child, so he was the heir of their business, but since when we just got married...
Your child would be the next in line after Robert. Make sure you give birth to a nice little heir.
His parents told me. To be honest, it felt kind of funny that the future of my baby was already decided before I even gave birth. But I also felt the same about wanting a healthy baby. I was planning to work with my husband to make a happy family, giving birth to a healthy baby. But reality was harsher than we expected. A year had passed after our marriage, but I never got pregnant. I read many books, searched for articles, and went to the hospital, but we didn't get any results. I was starting to panic, but my husband felt differently. He told me that I was to be blamed for not getting pregnant.
Hey, I thought people had kids right after they got married. I also have to feel pressured by my parents because of you.
Why are you blaming me? I got my body checked at the hospital, but they told me that nothing was wrong. So I've been asking you to get checked as well, but you're the one who refuses.
I've always been healthy since childhood. There's no way I'm the reason. The doctor must be unreliable. The reason is definitely you.
I was panicking, and my mental state was horrible back then. But now that my husband was also attacking me, I got even more unstable. And to make things worse, my husband did something horrible. One day, my husband invited my sister home.
Hey, you said you wanted proof, right? Look at this.
When I looked in her direction, my sister's belly was getting rounder. This has to be a joke. Are you pregnant? Yes. Robert is the baby's father. Oh, I heard that you blamed Robert for your infertility. What are you saying when you're the one who has problems? But it's the truth. I couldn't hide my shock when they revealed the surprising truth to me. Because we've been dating since college, there were times when he visited my house. When he did, sometimes we hung out with my sister, Bishi, who was 4 years younger than me. So Bishi and Robert knew each other. Finding out that they've been cheating on me, I fell to my knees right there. But they not only didn't offer me a hand, my husband and sister laughed at me.
So, your job is done now. I'm getting a divorce from you, who have no use as a woman. And of course you have no right to ask us for compensation money, because you're the one who was infertile.
Yeah, if you want to hold a grudge against someone, you better regret being born into an infertile body. The doctor definitely told me that there was nothing wrong with my body, but Bishi was pregnant with my husband's baby. The truth was heavy on my shoulders, and I knew I could no longer stay near them. I quickly agreed to our divorce and kept a distance between us. 10 years flew by, and since that day, I've never seen my ex-husband nor my sister. But I already had a family now. That day, I was visiting the nearby park with my family. My beloved daughter is with me too. Then my daughter said to me,
"Mommy, there's a creepy man over there."
"Huh? No." When I looked in the direction my daughter was pointing at, I found my ex-husband Robert standing there looking worn out and horrible. Once he spotted me, he walked towards me with unstable steps like the dead, but with eyes glittering from hope. And he was approaching me. When he came close, he opened his eyes wide in surprise.
Who is this kid?
She's my daughter. I gave birth to her.
No way! You were infertile!
Nope. After divorcing you, I got remarried. Then I soon got pregnant. First of all, the doctor had already proven that there was nothing wrong with my body. You were the one who didn't believe it.
No way! That can't be possible!
Then at that moment, my husband appeared and stood in front of my ex-husband as if to protect us.
What do you want from my wife and daughter?
Shut up! There's no way she could get pregnant!
No, she's our daughter for sure. We have legal evidence to prove that as well.
Seeing my husband's bold attitude, my ex-husband struggled to hide his unsettling emotions. "Where's Bishy?" When I asked, he started telling me his story. It turns out that while he was taking care of Bishy's baby, he got suspicious about how the baby didn't resemble him at all, and he went to get a checkup at the hospital. Then Bishy easily admitted that the baby wasn't his, and she ran off with her new boyfriend. Plus, Bishy was in a lot of debt and was using his house as collateral, and she ran off without paying her debt back. Because of that, his parents' house was taken away. His parents got furious at him and cut relations with him in the end. Then he finally realized that he was the one who couldn't impregnate women. Now that he no longer had anything, there was no way he, in worn-out clothes, could fight against my husband who owned a business.
Why did I end up like this? I never planned for this to happen!
He left complaining about this and that. A few weeks later, I heard that my ex-husband now has no home nor job and that he lives on the streets with other homeless people, but I think he deserves it, so I don't feel anything about it. And the feeling I felt when the two of them betrayed me and forced me to hit rock bottom in life was way worse than this. The person who saved me from the worst times of my life was my husband, so I really can't thank him more. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to give birth to my own baby and lived a life of misery, hating myself. For the case of Bishy, I guess God decided to punish her too. The boyfriend she ran off with, dumping my ex-husband, turned out to be engaged to the daughter of a CEO, and she thought she wouldn't have to pay any compensation money again, but they demanded to pay a huge amount of money.
Why do I have to pay compensation money? I didn't pay for it last time. There's no way I can pay for that.
I heard that she was throwing a tantrum. When I got a divorce, it was like I was brainwashed by Bishy and my ex-husband that it was my fault, so I wasn't able to ask for compensation money within the time limit. So maybe that's what made Bishy believe so, but it's normal for her to pay compensation money in that case. Moreover, Bishy's boyfriend's parents were doing business with the fiancé's parents, but the contract was canceled after they broke off their engagement, and they're asking Bishy for compensation. So I heard the rumor that she was going through a hard time. My ex-husband was a stranger to me now, and my sister, who dared to have an affair with her real sister's husband, was basically a stranger to me too. We weren't together anymore, and it's already been 10 years. But I'm glad that they all got punished in a way they deserved. I bet they'll have a miserable life from now on, but I hope they understand what they've done and try to fix their mistakes in the future.
My name is Trevor, and I'm a home dad. I live with my wife, Selene, who works at a large corporation, and our daughter. I used to have a full-time job too, but I got sick from overwork and fainted at work. So I decided to quit my job. I do the housework and look after our daughter, but I'm living a relaxed life. We were able to make a living with just my wife's salary, but considering about our future, I wanted to save up as much as we can. Recently, it's been popular among housewives to sell bags and accessories online. I thought I could sell something online too, within reasonable bounds. Fortunately, my health was recovering, and I used to be in the art club back in middle school and high school, and my strength was that I was good with hands. I decided to sell accessories made out of gemstones. When I sold them on a flea market app, they quickly sold out. I was very happy. I then established my own online shop. Within 3 months, I was able to make a profit out of it, enough to support our household. My wife had a sister called Lisa, and she was basically my sister-in-law, so I gave her my handmade accessories as her birthday present. I asked her what she liked beforehand, so she loved my gift. A few days later, she called me to say thanks.
Thank you for a very fashionable present. It was so gorgeous. I would rarely see something so nice at my shop as well. I was surprised when I heard that you made it on your own.
I'm happy to hear that.
I wore it when I went to hang out with my friend yesterday, and she praised it too. She asked me where I bought it.
I see. That's good to hear. It usually sells out fast even when I upload it to my online shop, so it might be difficult to buy them now.
Oh, I didn't know it sold out so fast. Does that mean you're making a decent amount of money?
Yeah, thanks to all the customers, I'm making a good amount of profit. I've been able to support the household for a while now. I delicately handle them so they sell out even if I put a high price on them.
Wow! Hey, actually, my friends all told me that they wanted your accessories. Can you please make it for them?
Accessories for your friend? Okay, if that's the case, I'll try my best and make it for them.
Can I ask you to make 20 of them? You know, people wear several accessories at once, and my friends all wanted them, so I need at least 20.
20? Oh, that's a pretty large amount, so it's gonna take me a while.
I don't mind. I'll be waiting.
I didn't want to make her wait, so I made these accessories, even if that meant I had to sleep less. It was a one-time thing, and it's a request from my sister-in-law and her friends. I worked hard as I did the housework and took care of my child. It was hard because I had to make accessories to sell on my online shop as well, but I managed to make 20 within 3 weeks. I called my sister-in-law to tell her that I was done.
Thank you. I was waiting so eagerly. I'm too busy with my work and can't go visit, so can you send them to my house? Oh, yes, and I'm giving it to my friends as a present. And make sure to wrap it well so that it won't get scarred in the way.
I wrapped them carefully and sent them to my parents-in-law's house where she lived. Woo! Now I can finally focus on making accessories I'll sell on my online shop. I had many repeating customers, so I wanted to come up with new designs, and some of my products were out of stock. I was finally able to focus on my products I'd sell, and I was relieved. A few days later, my sister-in-law gave me a call.
I showed the accessories you sent me to the manager of my boutique, and she told me that she'd love to sell them at our store too.
Huh? Really?
Yep. What do you think about displaying 10 products to start?
Thank you! I never expected my accessories would be displayed at an actual shop. I'll try my best to make 10.
Okay, then I'll tell my manager about it. I'll be in charge of communicating with you, so make sure you sent them to me, not the shop. And my boutique has a system of paying the profit every half a year.
Okay. It was my first time having my accessories displayed at an actual shop, so I was really happy. That night, when I told that to my wife, she looked really happy too, as if it happened to her. Since then, I started to make accessories full-time as I did the housework and looked after my child. It was pretty hard for me every day. Fortunately, I was getting more orders online and at the store. But things were going too well, so it was clear that I was overworking. I knew I might faint again from overwork, so I talked to my sister-in-law about my worries. I'm sorry, can we adjust the deadline a bit? I might faint again from overwork at this pace.
Oh, why are you so weak? It's a great opportunity for a newbie like you to get your products displayed at my shop. Make sure you send us the products by the deadline.
She said, and wouldn't accept my request. I couldn't just ignore the deadline, and as a result of working too hard, I fainted again. I talked with my wife and decided to tell them that I can no longer submit my products to their boutique. The next day I called my sister-in-law. At first, she seemed concerned about my health, but when I told her that I wanted to withdraw, her attitude changed in an instant.
Huh? You can't say that so suddenly.
I'm sorry.
Okay then, just make sure to send me the products we asked you to make up until now. I'll talk to my boss about you withdrawing.
Okay. A month later, I finished up all the products they asked me to make and sent them to her. Then my sister-in-law called me again.
The products look great and you were fast with your job. Can't you keep this up?
I don't want to get sick again, so I can't. I'm sorry.
If a simple sorry solves everything, we don't need any lawyers or the police. I think this is obvious, but because you're the one who didn't follow the contract, we don't have the responsibility to follow it. It hasn't been half a year yet, so we won't pay you the profit.
Huh? That's ridiculous! I assumed that my products made more than $1 million worth of profit.
You caused a loss to our company by quitting so suddenly. You're responsible to compensate for that.
Suddenly? I thought I told you that I wanted to quit a month ago, and I submitted all the work you wanted me to make.
That's a different problem. I am talking about the rules. This is what my company decided.
My sister-in-law hung up before I could say anything. She no longer picked up my calls, and when I had no idea what to do about it, my parents-in-law suddenly called me. It turns out that she told everyone that I was the one who pressured her to get my accessories displayed at her store and threatened her to pay me the profit. I went to talk to the staff working at the boutique as well as my sister-in-law's husband and asked for their help. On a weekend a few days later, my parents-in-law shouted at us when we went to visit them. Selene, I'm gonna make you see what your husband is really like.
Trevor, what kind of person are you?
I was shocked. Oh, please, as I told you already, the problem is that she refused to pay me the profit.
Profit? We displayed your products that were made by a newbie like you at our wonderful boutique. You better thank me for it.
It doesn't make sense. Are you saying that you're not at fault?
Yes, for sure. Absolutely.
I got out my voice recorder and played the recording. Then she went pale. The recording included a testimony by the manager of the boutique and my sister-in-law's husband. They testified that she hadn't displayed my products at the store and that she'd been selling them online. As you can understand from their testimony, she sold my accessories online and was trying to keep the profit all to herself.
You're making things up.
If that's how you're gonna deal with it, I'll hire a lawyer and sue you. My wife and I left their house. It turns out that she was making a profit out of not only my products, but also products from the boutique. As a result, it became a huge deal, and it was handled by the police as a criminal case. Her parents obviously broke off relations with my sister-in-law, and she had no ways to pay for the settlement money or bail money. I bet she'll have to stay behind bars for a while. My parents-in-law are living a hard life now, being labeled as parents of a criminal. I started making accessories again at my own pace and selling them online. Fortunately, my business is doing very well. I have a wife, and I have a daughter who goes to elementary school. I have an ordinary family. My daughter's in elementary school, so the parents each have a role. But back then, I never expected that I'd find out about my wife's affair because of this. The reason I found out about her affair was quite simple. Back then, my wife would often go out for the PTA conference, but with perfect makeup and pretty clothes. At first...
gosh, we have another PTA meeting. Ugh, I'm so tired of this. I hate it.
She used to complain about it, so I thought something was wrong. And when I asked her about it,
Many of the parents both work full-time. I'm a housewife, so I have extra time.
she said that, so I stopped thinking about it too much, considering that it was just her act of kindness. Back then, I was very busy with work, so I didn't know what the PTA usually did.
We're going to discuss what we can do better next time at the PTA meeting tonight, so don't work until late tonight. We have to get ready for the school event this weekend, so can you take care of our daughter?
She started asking me for favors, and I was surprised to see how busy the PTA was. But one day, when I went to pick my daughter up from her cram school, I came across one of the moms who was also a member of the PTA and had a conversation with her. "Thank you for your hard work as a member of the PTA. The members look very busy with all the planning and meetings." When I said that,
No, it's not that bad. We only gather once a month, so I'm managing it.
she replied, so I got a bit confused. I wanted to ask more about it, but our kids just left the cram school, so I didn't have time to. Since then, I started to grow suspicious of my wife. But I was a weak guy, too scared to ask my wife directly and make her angry. I wasn't able to concentrate on my work, and I couldn't help but to look up things on my computer during lunch break. And I went to the detective agency pretending to go to work and started to investigate my wife. One day, a great opportunity came my way. My wife told me that she had to go to a PTA gathering. So when I told the detective agency about her plans, they gave me the results of the investigation way earlier than I expected. The result was that she was cheating on me as I thought. Plus, I was shocked to know that she was cheating on me with our daughter's homeroom teacher. I never imagined that it would be our daughter's teacher, so I was too shocked to speak. In despair, with the proof of their affair I received from the detective agency, including photos and videos, I went to talk to a lawyer. I blurted out my honest feelings there. I told my lawyer that I still wanted to trust my wife, that I was too weak to question my wife about it. Then he strictly said to me that I should accept reality by seeing my wife cheating on me with my own eyes. But I really thought he had a point. We're already here now, I can't go back. So I accepted what the lawyer recommended that I do. Please contact me when you find out the date of your wife's next PTA meeting. Could you accompany us when that happens? Okay. Deep down, I hoped that the day would never come, but it happened real quick.
Next Saturday, the PTA is going to have a meeting to discuss about the graduation album.
My wife had no mercy on me. Now that I know the PTA only gathers once a month, those words by my wife was something that explicitly revealed her secret love affair. And on the day our daughter went to play at her friend's house early in the morning, despite it being a weekend, I pretended that I had to go to work and headed to the detective agency. I got into their car and waited near my mansion. A few hours later, when a car stopped in front, I saw my wife, who was dressed up in fancy clothes, come out and ride the car. My detective, who followed my wife's car, was very skilled and he kept a safe distance between us, but he never lost track of her car. The car traveled out of the city to the countryside, and it ended up stopping at a love hotel. It looks like your wife always has her affair at this hotel, my detective said in a very formal manner. Maybe I had finally processed what was going on, or maybe I was just influenced by my calm detective, but I understood the situation in my head very calmly, and I was already thinking of what to do next. Should I get a divorce? What should we do about our kids? Time flew by, and when the car that my wife rode came out of the hotel a few hours later, I'd already made up my mind. My detective hopped off our car and stopped my wife's car that just left the hotel by standing in front of it, his arms open wide. While the car honked the horn again and again, I got out of the car, and as soon as I stood in front of their car quietly, the horn stopped. I saw my wife opening her eyes wide from surprise in front of me. I stood in front of the passenger seat where my wife sat, and I lightly knocked on the door. When my wife came out with an expression that seemed like she was about to cry, "We'll go straight home. Don't say anything in front of the kids." I only said that. And to my daughter's homeroom teacher, who sat in the driver's seat looking pale, I said, "Thank you for always taking care of our daughter. Who knew that you were also very intimate with my wife?" When I said that, he was in a cold sweat and unable to say anything. Then I continued, "I'll communicate with you again through my lawyer soon. You can leave for now." When I said that, he drove away as if to escape. After we got home, as she promised me, my wife acted normal in front of our daughter. The next day, I got a day off from work and decided to discuss matters with my wife. I think you already get the idea, but let's get divorced. When I said that, my wife suddenly burst into tears and apologized to me repeatedly as she wept. But I had already come to a conclusion. I might have been able to forgive her if it was a one-night stand. But my wife betrayed me countless times and went to the hotel with that teacher. I just couldn't stand staying with her for the rest of my life. So I told my wife that she can't escape from what she did because I've already gotten proof from the detective agency. I also told her that I'll obviously inform her parents about it, that I'll bring our daughter with me and never allow her to meet her again. Then she cried out loud in despair and begged for mercy, but my decision was final. Then I called her parents. I asked them to pick her up, and I also told them that I won't allow her to meet our daughter anymore because she prioritized her desires over our daughter. Then both her parents were shocked and burst into tears. My wife was an only child, so I bet it was hard for them to be separated from their granddaughter forever. But I really wanted them to know what their daughter had done. Then I visited the school to make a direct request to fire the homeroom teacher. They obviously asked me the reason, so I told them everything about my wife's affair with proof. They got on their knees and apologized. And a few days later, the teacher was fired. I privately sent his family the proof of their affair as well, so his wife also found out about it. And I heard they got a divorce, too. I think his wife deserves to demand compensation money from my wife, so I didn't stop her from doing so. I also asked him to pay me a decent amount of compensation money and forcefully made him pay. After being scolded by her parents, they cut relations with my wife.
I'm sorry, I only have you. I'll spend my whole life trying to make it up to you. I'll listen to everything you say, so please give me another chance.
She begged, but I think it's all too late. Like that, we got divorced. My daughter asked me why Mom wasn't here anymore, but I'm planning to hide the truth until she gets older. After getting a divorce and separating from her parents, she had to pay a great amount of compensation money to the teacher's wife. Combined with the compensation money she had to pay me, it was a pretty huge amount, but she deserves it because she chose this path. When we were married, she only worked for short hours a few times a week, but that would no longer be enough. In this situation, where no one would offer her help, living a life of paying a great amount of compensation money every month must definitely be hell. But I have no sympathy for her.
I got an arranged marriage with my husband, but after I got married, I realized that he had a mother complex. It might be my fault for not investigating about my mother-in-law before our marriage, but who would have known that someone near you had a mother complex? After we got married, she moved in with us as if that was completely normal. When I realized they had already made the decision, and I didn't want it, but they never listened to me.
Mom offered to live with us. We should actually be thankful for that.
I was shocked when he said that. As expected, when she moved in with us, she started bullying me. After I cooked, she would dump it in the sink right away. "Don't you ever serve something so awful to my son." Then she cooked it herself. My husband would eat that with a wide smile.
You should learn from Mom and become a good cook,
he said to me. Apart from that, he somehow handed all his salary to his mother.
We can trust her on financial management.
And he never shared me a single penny of his salary. So I told her I wanted to find a job, but she told me that it would embarrass her son, and she said no. She wouldn't buy me any clothes and food, but my husband had no idea about it. At the same time, they told me about my husband's secret affair and his death. His secret lover suddenly barged into our house with a panicked expression. "He died!" "Huh? Your husband died from a heart attack!" She blurted out impatiently. I was confused for a second, but I quickly realized that the woman in front of me was his secret lover. After I processed what had happened to my husband, I opened my eyes wide. But it seemed like she was also panicking, and she ran away as soon as she told me that, as if she wasn't involved. I quickly called the general hospital nearby and checked if my husband was sent there before I went. According to the doctor, he had a heart attack when he was secretly meeting up with his lover at the hotel, and passed away after that. I found out who she was as well. She turned out to be a temporary worker at my husband's company. But she had plans to marry into a rich family soon, so she was planning to end things with my husband. But things took an unexpected turn, so she was in a panic. My love for my husband was long gone, considering how he's been treating me, so he kinda deserved it. But I couldn't just stay silent and do nothing about it, so I was thinking about what to do with the compensation money, etc. Probably because she didn't want her engagement to be canceled before I can even ask her. She offered to pay a surprising amount of compensation money and paid me instantly. If my love for my husband wasn't gone, I wouldn't have let her off the hook so easily. But I decided to settle things with her. But then it was his mother who objected. She was smirking, assuming that she would be the one to receive all the compensation money from her because she was his real mother. How would that be possible? But I decided to take advantage of this and get revenge on her. Plus, his greedy mother even asked me to reject the inheritance. Actually, my husband worked at management in his company, so he made a pretty decent amount of money. And he had saved up quite a bit before our marriage. His mother also knew about that because she had always lived with him. So she said to me, "I approve using his savings for his funeral expenses, but you have to hand me the rest." She pressured me. However, it looks like he was spending extravagantly while he was cheating on me, and he only had a few $100s left in his savings. Probably from his meals with his lover, as well as the hotel fees and his trips with her, which he disguised as business trips. I guess he was quickly using up his savings. But this would work as an advantage for me, so I decided not to tell her about it. Then his mother, believing that she'll inherit a lot of money, invited her daughter and her husband to move in with us. pushed me into the smallest storage room, and made them use the room I used to share with my husband. By the way, we had bought a multi-generation house, and I was the owner. But this was how she was treating me, and my urge of getting revenge got bigger and bigger. Obviously, I had loans to pay for the house, and there were barely any savings left. So I pretended to give up receiving any inheritance, acting all weak and fragile. But I didn't want to have problems later, and you never know how she might complain in the future. So I made official documents with the help of a professional. My mother-in-law, who was on cloud 9, believing that she'll inherit her son's savings and property, and happily signed the documents I gave her without checking what was written on them. My son was a very good boy. This must be his way of returning me the favor for taking care of him. That was what she said, imagining how she would react after she finds out everything. I was barely able to stop myself from laughing, but I held it in. My mother-in-law had to take care of her disabled mother, but she thought she'll be getting a lot of money, and she even has a daughter-in-law who's basically a maid. So she acted all tough and told me about her plan about having her move in with us as well, but I let her be. She's been telling everyone that she'll have her mother move in with her after the 49th day ceremony of my husband. But I was planning to leave the house on that day. I don't know what she told my sister-in-law who moved in with us after my husband's funeral, but she also treated me like a housemaid, and I endured it, thinking it would soon be over. But before I left the house, I secretly told her husband about what was about to happen to them. Actually, my sister-in-law was the one who suddenly decided to move in with us, so her husband felt deceived. And he usually complained about it. So when I warned him to think about what to do in the future, he went pale and looked down. I don't know how things would turn out, but I managed to ruin their relationship as a married couple. This was the best opportunity for me to get revenge on how they've been treating me. When I thought that to myself, I was able to endure all kinds of bullying from my sister-in-law as well as my mother-in-law. And after the 49th day ceremony of my husband, we're strangers now, so I can't keep living with you. I'll leave this house today. I gave you everything I inherited from my husband, so I assume we'd never meet again. With my luggage I've been preparing, I left the house. Both my mother and sister-in-law looked surprised, unable to process what had just happened. It's none of my business now about who's going to do all the housework and take care of her mother from now on. I went back to move in with my parents with the compensation money which my husband's secret lover paid me. My parents had also sensed that something was wrong with my mother-in-law when they attended my husband's funeral, so they honestly looked relieved. Now it's my turn to get revenge. Firstly, the mother of my mother-in-law arrived at their house as promised. My mother-in-law probably panicked because I was no longer there, and she called me on the phone so many times. "Come back, you're my daughter-in-law," she said to me, but I've already taken the necessary steps to cut relations with them. So I am no longer her daughter-in-law. And when I told her that it was not my responsibility to take care of a stranger's disabled family member, she shrieked and hung up. Secondly, she thought of a plan to get her mother hospitalized somewhere using my husband's savings. But she found out that only a few $100s were left when she checked his passbook. She then contacted me again and asked me where the money was, so I told her. "Your son used it all up on his secret lover." She shrieked again and hung up. Then she remembered that she'll be able to get compensation money from her, so she barged into her house. Then she told her, "I already paid compensation money. I have no duty to pay any towards you." She shooed her away at the door. But because of this, her fiancé found out that she was cheating on him while they were engaged, and the engagement was canceled. She was no longer able to marry into a rich family, so she got furious and sued my mother-in-law. And I heard the rumor that she's trying to make her pay a huge amount of compensation money. My sister-in-law's husband knew this wasn't going well, and he quickly slammed the divorce papers into his wife's face and ran away. My mother-in-law might have planned to live an extravagant life, but she ended up being in debt she'll never be able to pay back while she's alive. My sister-in-law ended up being caught in this chaos and cut relations with her mother, saying everything was ruined because of her. So my mother-in-law had to sell the multi-generation house. and had no other choice but to live on the streets. Serves her right, huh? I worked as an office lady at a company, and I had a junior called Bitchy, and she recently started to tell me this.
I don't think you and your husband are a good match, although you're married. I wonder why your handsome and rich husband chose you as his wife.
She said to me. The reason why she was telling me this was because when we had dinner with our office mates, I happened to live close, so I invited 5 to 6 of them over for the after party. Then Bitchy saw my mansion.
Wow, you're living in such a fancy mansion. Your husband must be rich.
She observed the inside from corner to corner. Since then, she would ask me what kind of person my husband was and ask when she would be able to visit again. Back then, I knew that she was coming after my husband, so I obviously refused. And she looked frustrated because I always said no. But there's no way she could get in if I refused, so I thought she gave up. But half a year later, Bitchy visited my room with one of my colleagues. Sorry, Bitchy told me she really wanted to visit your room. Huh? I'm sorry, but I'm a bit busy right now. I tried to make them leave, but without my permission.
Thanks, I'm coming in.
She came inside like that. My colleague also looked shocked, but I couldn't just kick her out as soon as she invited herself in. So I was serving her some tea when...
Where's your husband today?
She asked. He's here.
Huh? Then call him here. I want to meet him.
He's a bit busy right now, so I can't. I told her, and my colleague also told her to stop. But she took her chance when my husband came to get some water from the kitchen.
Hi, I'm Bitchy.
She was getting touchy with him. My colleague didn't like it too. Stop it, you're being rude. She scolded her, but my husband looked like he enjoyed it. We talked for 10 minutes or so with the 4 of us, but my colleague quickly took her home after that. 3 months later, when I was working as always, Bitchy came up to me.
I have something to tell you. Do you have time after work?
She said in a weirdly triumphant manner. I agreed, wondering what was going on. And after my work hours were done, I headed to the private room where we agreed to meet. Then I found Bitchy gently rubbing her belly.
I'm expecting,
she said. Huh? What do you mean?
Huh? Oh, your brain functions so slow. It means I'm pregnant with a baby. The baby dad is your husband. So can you get a divorce from him? Oh, and make sure you leave your mansion soon. I'm moving in with him after you.
Bitchy thought I was so shocked to speak when I looked taken aback. So she continued to tell me.
He's so kind. He treats me to a delicious meal and tells me that he loves me way more than you. And you still haven't had a baby with him, so he's obviously going to choose me, who is pregnant, over you. So it's clear that you're defeated.
She was speaking nonsense, so I couldn't hold in my laugh. Wow, good for you, but I'm single already, so it's not my business whether you date someone or not, whether you're pregnant or not.
Huh?
Actually, when you guys visited the other day, I was already having problems with my husband after he cheated on me. And it was right after we got divorced. And you guys happened to visit when my husband was coming over to pack up his things for the last time.
Huh? What do you mean by come over? If you got a divorce, isn't it you who has to leave?
Why do I have to leave? It's my mansion.
But you're just an office worker at an ordinary company. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I'm just an office worker, but my dad owns a company. You know the company called Sukato Corp? My dad is the CEO.
No way. He's the CEO of that huge corp. Does that make you the daughter of the CEO?
I'm not that special, but the mansion I live in was a present from my dad to congratulate us on our marriage. So I kicked my husband out after I found out he was cheating on me.
Then why did I have to get pregnant? You better take responsibility.
What responsibility? First of all, you assumed that I was still married to him, but decided to take him away from me. I already got divorced, so you won't have to pay me compensation money, but why do I have to take responsibility for a person like you? Then what does your husband do now? Him? I don't know. He used to work for my dad's company, but he betrayed me and cheated on me, so he obviously got fired, lost a place to live, and even had to pay me compensation money. So I guess he lives on the streets or something. He treated me to delicious meals, though. He broke up with his love affair after I found out about the affair, so I guess he wanted to manipulate you into taking care of him. No way! My plan is all ruined now! I can't do anything. I already got a divorce, so we're strangers now. And looks like you're pregnant with his baby, so go figure that out with him. How am I supposed to discuss this with someone who has no job and lives on the streets? I don't know. It's what you did, so you have to take responsibility of your own actions. Why do I have to deal with this? It doesn't make sense. Bitchy was going crazy in front of me, but that's none of my business. After that, looks like she decided to get an abortion. Of course, she can't give birth to a baby when the baby dad has no job nor money. And looks like her parents found out that she was approaching him despite knowing that he was married. So they cut relations with her. She also quit our company after that. By the way, it seems like she secretly gave my ex-husband her number when she visited my room that day. And they hang out in secret behind my back, so she quickly got pregnant. I had already divorced him back then, so my ability to sense suspicion as his wife was not working at all. And to be honest, I didn't care. So I guess that's why she was easily able to hand him her number. My friend complained that I should have told her sooner, but they visited so suddenly there was no time to explain. After that, I made my ex-husband pay for compensation, and my peaceful life was back. A few years later, I heard a rumor about Bitchy. It seemed like she married a different man. But for some reason, after she got the abortion once, she was unable to get pregnant again. And she soon got dumped by the man for that reason. It's normal for someone to want kids after marriage. Although I had already divorced him, it was the undeniable truth that she tried to destroy my relationship. So it's pretty clear how horrible she is as a person. So I feel no sympathy for her. In my ex-husband's case, probably because of my dad's influence, he was unable to find a job in this area. And I heard he still lives an impoverished life working part-time. By the way, I met a nice gentleman a year and a half ago after I got my divorce, and I got remarried with my dad's approval. Now I live a happy life with my twin babies I gave birth to.
My name is William. I always had a passion for cooking, and I opened my own Lunchbox shop when I was 25. It was going pretty well, and I was making a living out of it, but after a fried chicken takeout opened next to my shop a year ago, fewer customers were visiting. But some regular customers still visited me every day saying they loved my lunchboxes. I tried my best to keep my business for those customers and desperately kept my business going. The owner of the fried chicken shop next door was coincidentally my classmate from high school, Taylor. He tended to treat everyone as his rival since we were in high school, so everyone viewed him as trouble. After he opened his fried chicken shop, he'd visit my shop every day. "What a boring lunchbox, as always!" He would make fun of me all the time. Despite getting fewer customers, it wasn't too bad, and it wasn't like I was going out of business, so I basically ignored him. One day, a month after the fried chicken shop opened, the meat shop I always bought my meat from suddenly notified me that they were going out of business. That meat shop was famous for being delicious and cheap, so I was relying on them a lot. It had a pretty big impact on my shop. After they notified me about their bankruptcy, the CEO quickly visited me and explained to me what happened. The reason for their bankruptcy was that they were receiving complaints that they had nothing to do with. And because someone spread the rumor, their regular customers left them. Reviews saying that the meat was rotten and that they didn't receive their order properly were uploaded online. And that was the biggest cause. But I knew that they were all lies as someone who'd known them for a long time. The CEO was worried about my business, and he contacted all the meat shops he kept in touch with and asked if I could buy meat from them with the same price. Thanks to that, I was able to keep my business going. A few days later, I found a chubby lady in front of my shop. She was just looking at the menu of my lunchboxes and she didn't dare to enter. I wanted to know why, so when I approached her, I realized that I recognized her face. It was the daughter of the CEO of the meat shop. The daughter, Hannah, handed me 10 cents that she gripped tightly in her hand as she saw my face.
Is there anything I can buy with this?
She said. Of course, there was nothing that cost only 10 cents on the menu, but considering how they were in debt after the bankruptcy of their company, I figured that they barely had anything to eat. So I decided to treat her to a meal I usually cooked for the employees. I bet Hannah was so hungry because she instantly finished the meal. Then with tears in her eyes, she said,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
She bowed to me countless times as she left my shop. I sent her off. You can come here anytime. When I said that to her, Taylor came out of the fried chicken shop next door.
Oh, I knew I saw you somewhere before. You must be the daughter of the CEO. You're as chubby as I remember. You're still a glutton even after getting in debt. Shame on you for begging a lunchbox shop for food. Taylor laughed loudly. At that moment, "How dare you say that to a woman?" I yelled at him. Then Hannah said to me,
It's fine. It's the truth.
She was crying as she ran away. Since then, Hannah stopped visiting my shop. I had no idea whether the CEO started a new business or not, and I heard nothing from them, which made me worried. Half a year later, my regular customer told me about a rumor that sparked my interest. According to my customer, false reviews about my shop were being uploaded online. When I went to check, I found reviews saying the food was rotten and that I didn't prepare their order uploaded on online platforms. I was being very careful with the quality and sanitation, and because it was just a small shop with me working here alone, I had never forgotten someone's order before. As the regular customer told me, the reviews written online are definitely false. And the reviews were similar to what Hannah's father told me about, so I thought the culprit might be the same person. I went back and looked for the reviews Hannah's father was talking about. Then it turned out that it was the same person who was writing false reviews about my shop, as I thought. Ruining someone's business by spreading false rumors was very evil, so I quickly called the police. After they started investigating, they soon found out the culprit. Turns out the culprit had been spreading many false reviews. The moment they told me the name of the culprit, I was very surprised. The culprit was Taylor! After Hannah's father and I found out, we were furious. We submitted a victim's report, and Taylor got arrested for damaging our reputation. When the police asked why he did that, he said that he wanted my business to close down and to take my customers from me, and he admitted his crimes. I thought things would calm down after his arrest, but a few days later I saw something shocking. The fried chicken shop was back in business. I saw a man I didn't recognize standing in front of the shop. When I asked what was going on, it turns out that Taylor's Jr. took over the business, and they opened the shop once again. Taylor was also coming back someday. After I heard about that, I felt like I wouldn't be able to get up again because I was so shocked. One day, a savior appeared in front of me.
When I was getting ready to open my shop, as always, I saw a beautiful girl I've never seen before standing in front of my shop. When she saw my face, she blushed and bowed. "I'm sorry, who are you?" When I asked her,
I'm Hannah, the daughter of the CEO.
she answered. I couldn't help but shout, "Huh?" In return, Hannah, who used to be so chubby, had lost so much weight, turning into a surprisingly beautiful girl. "What happened? You look so much more beautiful." When I said that,
I actually passed the audition to become an actress, and I'll be the main lead for the next movie. I wanted to tell you this before anyone else.
she replied. She said she was deeply hurt when Taylor made fun of her body on the last day she visited my shop, and
I wanted to thank you who treated me to a meal without hesitation despite my awful looks.
she started going on a diet to become an actress, which had always been her dream since her childhood. With the goal to advertise my shop after becoming an actress, she worked hard no matter how difficult it was to exercise. As a result, she successfully lost weight, and she even passed the audition to become an actress. I see. Congratulations! When I said that, Hannah replied happily,
Let me advertise your shop when I get famous.
she promised. It didn't take long until she rose up to stardom. Once her movie was out, she attracted a lot of attention, and she quickly became famous. At the same time, Taylor came back to his fried chicken shop. Imagining him coming to bully me and make fun of me again stressed me out already. Then Hannah suddenly visited amidst of that.
Let me advertise your shop.
She started taking photos of my shop to make posters and flyers for advertisement, and she also posted about my shop on her social media, so I was getting more and more customers. Thanks to the new star actress who advertised my shop was making more profit than ever. As a result, fewer people were visiting Taylor's fried chicken shop, so he came to my shop to complain. "Why is the star actress advertising such a small Lunchbox shop? Now my shop is getting fewer customers," Taylor said to me. "You don't know who that actress is? It's the daughter of the CEO of the meat shop you spread false rumors about." When I told Taylor that, "You have to be kidding! She used to be chubby!" he screamed and went back to his shop. Soon, the fried chicken shop closed down, and shortly after he'd made a comeback, he quickly disappeared. For the case of Hannah's father, now that Hannah was making money as an actress, he was able to start his business again, and I was once again able to buy meat from him. My shop quickly became famous, and I opened my second branch. I'm planning to open more in the future. I was worried about how things would turn out when the fried chicken shop opened next door, but I'm glad things turned out in a positive way. I hope I can continue to work hard together to make more profit at my shop.
My name is Chloe. I'm 28 years old and I live with my little brother, Ryan. My brother is 4 years younger than me. Our parents passed away after a tragic accident 10 years ago. After I graduated high school, I was planning to go to university, but I gave up and found a job to pay for my brother's tuition. I studied hard to earn many certifications, and thanks to that, now I make a decent amount of money. After I started living with my brother at our parents' house, I started to feel like I was his guardian. He appreciates me too, so we, siblings, are close. One day my brother told me that he had something important to tell me, so my heart was beating fast while I waited.
"I think I'm gonna get married to my girlfriend,"
he said as he blushed. At first, I was too surprised to say anything, but I see. Congratulations! I congratulated my brother. The next weekend, my brother invited his fiancée over. Her name was Holly, and she looked pretty flashy. Nice to meet you. Are you his sister he was talking about? Oh, you look older than I thought. How old are you? I was surprised because she was so rude from our first meeting. She looked and acted the exact opposite as my introverted brother, but it looked like my brother was crazy in love with Holly.
I want to make great memories at our wedding, so help me, sis.
My brother was very motivated, but Holly said,
We don't need her help. Let's decide everything with just us.
She looked unhappy about it. Yeah, it's your wedding, so you should work together and decide as a couple. When I said that, Holly added,
Yeah, we don't need a middle-aged woman's help.
She said something rude again as if it was nothing, when my brother put on a mad expression on his face.
Oh, it's just a joke. I'm playing around so that I want to be close to your sister. Don't take it so seriously,
she said as she laughed. After Holly left our house, I asked my brother, Are you sure you want to marry her? When I asked him, he replied,
Yup, she might not look like it, but she takes great care of me.
He put on a smile, looking very happy. I hadn't completely trusted her yet, but I decided to let go if my brother was happy with it. Once they started preparing for their wedding, my brother was coming home later than usual. He not only was busy with work, but he also had to prepare for his wedding, so I could see that exhaustion was piling up inside of him. I got worried, and when I accompanied him for his wedding planning, I didn't see Holly anywhere. I thought she wasn't able to make it to the meeting, coincidentally. Does Holly have work today? I asked. Then the staff whispered to me, He always comes alone. The bride has never visited us yet, she said to me. I was surprised to hear that, and when I asked my brother what was going on after we went home,
Holly is a free spirit,
he said as he laughed. I thought it was unbelievable for someone to miss the meeting for her own wedding. I searched for her workplace, found out when the work hours ended, and decided to wait for her until she got off work. Holly works in administration at the company her father owns and goes home right when the work hours end. While I waited outside, a group of young employees left the company. I found Holly among them. When I was eavesdropping on their conversation, one of them said, Your wedding is coming up, but are you sure you can go drinking with us? Don't you have meetings with the staff? Then Holly replied,
No problem. He does everything I say. I don't care about my wedding, so he can just choose whatever he wants.
I overheard this conversation and I couldn't hold in my anger and couldn't help but talk to Holly. Hey, what does that mean? When I grabbed her arm, Holly turned around awkwardly.
You don't care about your wedding? That is too much. What do you think my brother is?
I added, then,
Huh? Shut up, you hag!
She somehow got mad at me in return. Then she ran off as if to escape from me, and I missed my opportunity to talk to her. When I told my brother that Holly was drinking out with her friends after I got home,
I know already. She's busy because she has so many friends. I think it's important to hang out with friends too, so I don't mind,
he said, so I had no words to say to him. On the day of the wedding, as I waited for my brother to come home, feeling worried, the doorbell rang. When I answered, I saw Holly, a middle-aged man, and a woman who seemed to be her parents. It didn't take long for them to greet me, and they all suddenly started to get mad at me. Holly's mother started,
How dare you grab your brother's bride by the arm and shout at her? If you're bullying her already, then I'm getting worried about her future.
Then her father added,
She's right. A bully like you shouldn't come to her wedding.
He shouted, for the case of Holly.
A single hag like you isn't invited to my wedding.
She said something very rude like that was normal. But I had enough of this and no longer was able to suppress my anger. I'm not going then. Are you sure that's okay? When I asked, the three of them demanded me, Don't come no matter what, and left my house. I knew I had to save my brother from marrying into a family like hers, so I decided to put a plan into action. On the wedding day, I decided to watch their wedding from the shadows. The preparations started and guests began arriving, but then my brother said,
Huh? Where's Sis?
He started to panic. Then Holly cut in.
What's wrong with her not being here? By the way, where's my dress?
Then the staff started to panic. Chloe isn't here. Oh no, we can't have your wedding unless she arrives. When Holly saw the staff were in a panic,
Chloe? She's his sister, right? She's just a relative. There shouldn't be a problem.
Then my brother told her,
My sister is a wedding planner. She's in charge of planning our wedding. We can't start unless she's here,"
he said. After she heard that, she finally showed her true colors.
Huh? I never knew that.
Holly was furious.
"My sister volunteered to be in charge of our wedding because you never came to the meetings."
My brother talked back, which was very rare for him. Then the argument heated up.
If I knew that, I wouldn't have told the single hag not to come to our wedding.
The words slipped out of her mouth. At that moment, my warm and kind brother
"Did you say that to my sister?"
yelled at her. The guests were gathering around, hearing the loud noise, but Holly was unable to contain her anger.
What's wrong with going drinking with my friends, skipping those stupid meetings? I can't help it. I'm popular, but that hag was scolding me. It's all her fault.
She screamed, embarrassing herself in front of everyone. All of the people in the scene listened, looking shocked. Once they found out that the wedding won't happen, the guests went home one after another, saying, "Serves you right." My brother said to Holly, who was left in the room,
"Let's pretend our marriage never happened."
My brother left the venue. After that, it seemed like many had problems with how Holly lacked common sense in her actions. The clients of her father's company who were at the wedding told them that they no longer wanted to sign the contract. Despite heading to the wedding on their day off, they ended up feeling disappointed. It's no surprise that they would want to withdraw. One of the elite clients said,
"It's Holly who ruined the whole wedding, so she should be the one paying for all the expenses to take responsibility. If you'd be willing to do that, I could reconsider about withdrawing from our contract and see how things go."
They encouraged her, so it was decided that the bride would pay for everything. Not only that their marriage was canceled, my brother also broke up with Holly, and she seemed to finally understand how great my brother was to her, and asked if they can get back together. Across the phone,
I can't live without you. Please come back to me.
Holly was crying, but my brother said,
"I can't stay with someone who doesn't respect my family."
He clearly refused. A few months later, I heard that Holly's father's company went bankrupt and that they ended up in a lot of debt. They deserve it, obviously, after what they'd done. As a result, Holly also lost her job, and since she left town to go make money, no one knows where she is. For the case of my brother, 2 years after his marriage was canceled, he married a kind-looking and homely woman. He moved out of the house we lived in together. My responsibilities were finally off my shoulders, so I'm planning to prioritize my happiness from now on in life.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.